Hello and welcome to episode 18 of Ringside Reality. I'm your host, Jonathan, here with Chris White.
Hello. I only got one word to describe your intro. SAWFT. What do you think of that? Was that good?
Buddy, you need to go kill yourself.
Well, I thought it was pretty good. Fucking your intro was weak, and I was like, "How you doing?" You came in with some friggin' cool catchphrases. I thought it was pretty good, to be honest with you. But whatever. Thanks for bringing me down.
Soft. You don't even like Enzo and Cass.
Oh, Enzo and Cass, the two most annoying people on the planet. Like, on the planet. I mean, I'm not even joking. Like a 4-year-old that you're babysitting for like 10 days in a row. That is just running around the house destroying your furniture and fucking smashing shit all over the floor. Sounds annoying as fucking Enzo. Really, Cass is just kind of like Cass like this stupid guy in the background that you know like he can't even talk really. Enzo is the one that's he frustrates me. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to bring down your entrance or your intro there, Johnny Boy. Sorry. Well,
you can do the intro from now on then.
Boy, I'm not doing no fucking intro. I'm mad awkward.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on this week.
You're fat. We just discussed that before we went on the air. By the way, Johnny's fat, everybody. Before we went on the air, he divulged that he's like goddamn 300 pounds.
No.
He's 5'11", 300 pounds.
Can you imagine being like 5'5" and 300 pounds?
Oh, I've seen people. Danny DeVito is fucking goddamn 5'5", 300 pounds, isn't he? Have you never seen Batman fucking 2, the one with the fucking penguin in it?
Yeah.
So Johnny divulged to me secret information that was not supposed to be brought to the airwaves, but I'm just letting everybody know it's fat, and I'm in peak physical condition in case anybody's wondering.
Oh yeah. Peak for a 70-year-old man.
I'm actually like 210 pounds and mad bald. But it's okay, because as we discussed, we have women and homes, and we're not doing too bad for two fellas that are mad, fat, out of shape, like wrestling in their mid-30s.
Yeah, you're doing a podcast on wrestling in our mid-30s. Yeah.
Tuesday night, sitting there doing podcast. But it's good because... Like
at least I don't live with my parents in the basement.
True, and just so everybody knows, if anybody listened last time, my mom came in, we supper, and Johnny was giving me a hard time. Mom has left, she's moved away. So I'm now not living with my mom anymore. Just so everybody knows. I'm on top again, baby. I makes me own fucking supper now.
Not really. You got the woman to do that for you.
Well, she can't cook.
Oh, yeah. That's lies.
I sit there and wonders who would slow roast me a dog's asshole whenever she beats it. No. But, yeah, so this week there is some news that we got to get to before... we go into Backlash and stuff, and I'm sure we're going to talk about the wrestling. Did you hear the two little items? Did you hear the big news today?
What's that?
Oh, buddy.
Is it breaking news? I got a breaking news thing going, too.
Your breaking news music just took over my breaking news music. You can't do that on the air.
What's your breaking news? Come on.
Paige got a tattoo of Alberto Del Rio's name on her back.
Oh, right. That's bad.
Real. Like, she actually got a tattoo of... It says Alberto on her back.
Oh, that's just wrong.
What I should have said was fucking jobber for life.
What is her... I don't know, man. What her deal is. Like,
well, she's ended up quitting because of... Like, she obviously is like... Well, how old is Paige? Let's be honest. She's like, what, 22 or something?
She's in her early 20s, man. Maybe...
Alright, so she's young, naive, and... You know, just being young and stupid. This guy has managed to... Because he failed that steroid test mad bad, too, I just read.
And it was a testosterone replacement therapy.
Yeah. So she's ended up, like, quitting a job that she could have been at for the next, like, 15 years. And has left the WWE just to be with him. And got his now she's got his name tattooed on her back. Does it really seem worth it? Because Alberto's a fucking loser.
This is all for a guy who's not even divorced yet. This guy's still a married man, technically.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He's not even divorced yet. He's separated, but he's not divorced yet. So, like you said, she's going to throw away her career for some guy she just started dating a few months ago. This makes no sense, man. Like, and this guy's like, he's not a young dude. Del Rio's, what, late 40s?
Well, I think he looks like he's like 70, but
Well, I'm pretty sure he's pretty old. He was in the MMA years ago too.
I think he's actually like 40, but he looks like he's fucking 50.
I'll find out now.
You might have to Google.
Oh, he's actually 39.
Oh my god! What?
Yeah, that guy looks fucking way older than 39.
He's not 39. That's a mistake. That's a typo.
Apparently, he says he was born May 25th, 1977.
You sure it doesn't say he was born May 25th, 1939?
No, May 25th, 1977, man.
77, so he's only like 6 years older than us, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Del Rio is, well, he's like Benjamin Button or something. He's fucking, I don't even know what the story is.
Backwards, yeah. Yeah, because I would honestly said he was 49 instead of 39.
Well, no
joke, and he's in good shape. I mean, he's in good shape. He's not like his fat guy or nothing. He's in good shape, but it's his face, like his facial features. He looks way older.
Yeah, like he's toned and everything, right? But like my missus don't watch it, but she's seen him on TV a couple of times over the last like say year or so, and she's like, "Who's that old fucking like old man coming out to the ring?" I'm like, "Why, that's old Alberto Del Rio." I was like, "He's fucking Pero or whatever." She's like, first of all, go pee yourself, and second of all, fucking he looks like he's like 75 years old. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I told her, because she watches that Total Divas when it was on, and she knows who Paige is. I told her like a few weeks ago, I'm like, boy, he came out to the ring, and I was like, that's who Paige is going out with. She was like, oh my. She's like, he's fucking nasty. Like, that was my tidbit I wanted to start off the show with, is that, and like, there's a picture of it and everything. Like, she actually has a tattoo on her back, which I find to be just fucking retarded.
I'm reading it here. It says, Paige posts, then deletes new Alberto tattoo.
Is that not even his real name? I don't think that's the best part. His name's like Joe, isn't it?
I'll find out. She's 24, by the way.
So she's young.
So she's like,
but isn't his
15
name like
years younger than him. So
his fucking name's like Steve or something.
No, Jose. His name's Jose Alberto Rodriguez.
Oh, so Alberto's not totally off.
No, it's his middle name, but still.
Like, so aside from you
hold
cut
on
off
a
the
second.
breaking news music here, I'll fucking get back to my breaking news music being cut off.
She's like, I still can't get it, man. So she's 24 years old, throwing away her career for some guy she started dating who's 15 years older than her, who's not divorced yet, who said he's going to retire in the next 2 years. So then he doesn't give a fuck about her career after that. Once he's retired, he's not going to be like calling in favors for her and stuff, and like going to like TNA or Lucha Underground with her or nothing. Like, she's on her own in her career at that point, unless she's going to give up wrestling at the age of 24.
Yeah, it seems like a really, really horrible decision.
Yeah, it's just, that's a horrible decision. Like, Ryback thinking that he's better than what he is, and
well, Ryback seems to be like thinking that he's goddamn fucking Bret Hart or something lately, doesn't he? I'm glad you touched on Ryback, because he legally changed his name to Ryback.
I heard that, yeah.
And but just reading his interviews, I don't know if anybody's kind of read his interviews, but just to touch base on it. The last like maybe 3 weeks, he's been putting out a bunch of interviews, and he's very, very confident, man. He seems to think that he had a much bigger impact in wrestling, and he was a lot more prestigious and meant a lot more to the business than he actually was. I mean, if you listen to the guy talk, you'd think he was fucking Hulk Hogan. I don't know whoever told him that he was something he wasn't, but delusional, I guess, would be the only word to think about Ryback these days. He seems to be on a bit of a high horse. I don't know why.
Well, the whole Vince told him he was going to squash that little punk AJ Styles at WrestleMania. That's a bit ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't believe that ever happened, ever. Maybe he dreamt it or something. Yeah, because, I mean, why would they have Styles be squashed by Ryback when, I mean, their long-term plan must have been to give Styles the title at some point, if they just gave it to him now. But I don't know. I think that's a whole bunch of bullshit. I think that was just Ryback. I think all of this is just Ryback trying to position himself to get hired with another company or like get more money for his indie dates. That's all I think it is.
Yeah, I think that the whole thing with Ryback is basically just positioning himself insane. I mean, the guy's probably going to make a pretty good living off the indie scene, maybe. Like, I mean, he's already booked up. Apparently, he says he's booked up for like 4 months. So, I don't know. More power to him if it works, I suppose. You know, like, I don't know. But the guy was definitely a glorified fucking mid-carder in WWE, wasn't he? Like, that was it.
Oh, for sure. They tried to push him a few times and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, like just he claims they shut him down or whatever. So Paige and Ryback, well, I don't know. Paige is more of a sad story because,
Oh,
like
for
you said,
sure.
she's a 24-year-old girl, and Del Rio's an old fucking 87-year-old octogenarian fucking on his way out, and she's giving it all up for him. She's suing. She hired a legal team too, apparently, and suing WWE because they made him break up.
Yeah, so apparently they threatened to fire her unless she broke up with him, and then I don't know. I find that hard to believe as well. Like, look up AJ Styles, not AJ Styles, sorry, AJ Lee and CM Punk. CM Punk did way worse than what fucking Del Rio did, and they didn't make her give up, or they didn't make her quit, or they didn't do anything to her.
Actually, once CM Punk left, she still was women's champion and got like pushed.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, on the other side, and there's a flip side to everything, two sides to every story, in the middle is the truth. There's a lot of stories of mistreatment in WWE. Like, the laundry list goes on and on. Like, even someone like Cody Rhodes. And I mean, there's a lot of stories in the WWE, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Ryback. And in the last few years, a lot of mistreatment apparently has happened, and favoritism, and just a shit. You know, like Vince. Vince has run his company the same way since the 80s. He still thinks it's the fucking 80s. But I don't believe that he told him to break up. I think that, if anything, they got drafted to different shows, and Paige and Del Rio thought it was like a fucking, this thing to get him to break up or something, when probably it was just he wanted them on different shows. Like, I don't know.
That sounds more plausible to me. More than likely it was they got drafted to different shows, and then Del Rio said to her, "This is a ploy now to get us to break up, or to get you to quit, one or the other." And then she was like,
and that's like pure speculation at that point. I mean, we're going into like fucking goddamn fucking foster files at that point. You know what I mean? Like, that's just silly. But so anyway, not much has happened this week as far as little tidbits go. We had a pay-per-view on Sunday.
Well, there's one big news before we get on to that, though.
Oh, you got some more juicy news? Cut your music off too right now. What the hell?
It's not juicy news. Everybody knows about it. But, like, CM Punk lost. Alright.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
After 3 years of anticipation, CM Punk lost in less than 2 minutes.
That was the worst thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Honestly, like when I watched it, listen, I was going for CM Punk. Just because I'm a wrestling fan, I wanted a wrestler to walk in there after all the trash talk you hear from UFC guys about wrestlers being fucking pussies and all this shit. I wanted him to win. I honestly did. When I got home from a concert on Saturday night where I was hoping to open up my phone and see CM Punk wins in 2 or 3 rounds or something. And unfortunately, I had the displeasure of sitting down and watching that fight, if you'd even call it a fight. The way I see it, 2 people got a tango for it to be a fight. It was a fucking slaughter. It was absolutely... CM Punk, I know people are like, oh, he's got balls. He had a lot of balls stepping in the ring with that guy. Like, it was a fucking joke. He got massacred. I don't know what else to say. I don't even watch UFC. You do watch it more. We've already established that. As a UFC guy, that must be up there with, like, just probably the biggest disgrace in the history of UFC, what he did. Like, 2 years of training, fucking video packages and documentaries and shoulder injuries and putting off the fight, and then to come in and do that. Like, I thought it was fucking embarrassing, to be honest with you. That's what I thought. I was embarrassed, like, at the time, in real time, when I was watching it. Looking back now, I don't know, but at the time when I was watching it, I was actually embarrassed for him. I was like, oh my god. Like, Mickey Gall's now, he's like what you call a goddamn fucking machine here, man. He's a young guy. He's like 2-0 or something. Not like he was fighting fucking this legendary fucking fighter in the UFC. He was taking on a young kid, and he got destroyed. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on what the hell happened, and maybe you have a different take, but I'm anxious to hear who you are a UFC guy.
Well, there's ups and downs, so there's 2 things about it. There's more than 2 things, obviously, but so I give him props for actually going out there and doing it. So, like, a lot of people say they're going to do stuff, and then they end up quitting and giving up and stuff. He actually did train, I guess, and he did get in the ring. Yeah, he fucking sucked at it. But I guess the old adage, if, like, you can only fail something you haven't tried, right? Like, that's the only time you lose at something is when you don't try to do it. So, yeah, he tried, he lost, it sucks, and he sucks. He shouldn't fight ever again. the one thing that really gets me is his payday is absolutely ridiculous. So $500,000 he got paid for that fight. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Nobody can argue that he should have got paid. So a fighter who's 0-0, he never fought before in any kind of mixed martial arts, gets pushed to the main card of a UFC over like guys who've been fighting in mixed martial arts their whole lives, and gets paid more than what the main eventers are getting paid. That makes no sense to me, man. Like $500,000. Holy shit. I think like I'll look it up right now. I'm pretty sure that the payday for Stipe Miocic, who's the heavyweight champion, was less than him, if not close to it.
Mickey Gall got 15,000, and then a bonus of 15 for winning the fight, so he got 30 total.
Because the fighters are pissed. The fighters are pissed off about it.
Like, I'm 50-50 with you. Like, I don't want to just keep saying it, but so I don't watch UFC. You know that, and it's not that I hate it or anything. Or I don't watch fucking Family Guy. But I don't hate it. I just don't watch it. I don't watch UFC. It's not because I don't like it. It's just because I just never got into it. I guess I have nothing against it, but I started watching more of it the last 3 weeks leading up to the CM Punk fight, and it led me to press conferences, YouTube, like press conferences, and then it'll take you to this, take you to that, and it led me to the documentary on CM Punk, like this 4-part series that UFC just put out, and as a guy who doesn't watch it, watching it, I realized how much it's like wrestling, as in the way it's promoted. So the way that they sell the match, and the way that CM Punk walked in the ring when Mickey Gall won his match to take him on at this UFC match 202 or whatever, the way that Mickey Gall called out CM Punk after his first initial match, the way that they did the documentary with the background music and showing CM Punk fight, it all just kind of hit me that, although it is real, the presentation of it is unbelievably, and I don't know if it was always like this, 6-7 years ago when UFC was really hot, I don't know if it was like this. But right now, just as a guy just tuned in, if it wasn't real, I would say it was no different than pro wrestling. Like, the presentation of it is the exact same as WWE as far as selling a fight. Like, they're in the money making business.
Oh, for sure, and it's getting worse with guys like Conor McGregor and stuff, but it's always pretty much been like, because you've always had your smack talkers and stuff, right? Like Nick Diaz was on the go like 6-7 years ago, and he was always talking smack and everything else, and George St. Pierre was there, and there was always this big like
build up. Was there the same presentation of it, as in like it's almost like those video packages they do before a wrestling match on a pay-per-view?
Oh yeah, they've done that.
So that was always there. Like they always.
Yeah, because
I guess what I'm getting at is that
like,
this is Dana White's fault.
Well, Dana White he's got on record saying that he looks up to Vince McMahon. Like
he's so Vince McMahon, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Everything that he does to sell a pay-per-view is quintessential Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Like everything, down to the T. There is no Dana White. I don't even think UFC gets bought back in like 2002 or whatever from those brothers. And I don't even think without Vince McMahon and pay-per-view and wrestling, it probably never did. Like he follows the script, as like you would believe. But as far as the payday thing goes, if we're gonna stay on the narrative that UFC is a presentation and it's kind of like selling things as wrestling would, how much did The Rock get paid to come back and fight at WrestleMania for one time, while all those guys in the back busted their ass? Now he obviously made 20 times more money than fucking anybody else. How much does Brock Lesnar get paid to wrestle 3 times a year? Even though guys like fucking Rhino and Slater and Curtis Axel do house shows circuit all the time. I guess I'm just trying to make the narrative that the UFC basically paid CM Punk for pay-per-view buys and for publicity. And if publicity is worth money, then he earned every fucking penny of that $500,000. Because unfortunately, the guys on the lower card that are bitching about it, you haven't done anything. Like it or not, CM Punk is a superstar. He has more followers on Twitter than the whole UFC combined. Fact. He just does. The guy has more followers on Twitter than the whole UFC combined. He has been there, whether you like what he does for a living or not. He's made money. He's a superstar. He is a huge fucking superstar. It goes back to the same arguments of Brock Lesnar and The Rock and these part-timers in WWE. Did he earn his $500,000 that night? I guarantee you that was a 202 pay-per-view. It probably would have done 350, 400,000 buys on a regular night. It probably did $750,000. I bet you it'll come out 600, 700,000 buys. Was it worth it for Dana White? He's a businessman. So I understand what the UFC fighters are basically saying. What the WWE wrestlers say when The Rock comes back and there's heat in the locker room, or when Brock Lesnar steps in and takes over and there's heat. It's the same narrative, just a different company. I challenge you to say, did he not make his $500,000 in publicity and eyes on the product and pay-per-view buys? I'm sure he did. So what's wrong with it?
My only deal with that is like, okay, so The Rock or anybody comes back, Brock Lesnar or anybody comes back to the WWE, they make a big payday. They still put off an entertaining match. Like, yeah, all the build-up is good and they get the people to watch the pay-per-view, but when the actual match happens, it's a full-fledged match, and you see Rock versus Cena a few years ago, and I mean, you're seeing a spectacle, you're seeing something big. I mean, people must have got, some people, anybody who tuned in to see CM Punk, so all that build-up and all that publicity and stuff, they tune in and they get disappointed. Now they're going to be like, well, that fucking sucked. You know what I mean? Well, a waste of time. And
how many fights did people buy Tyson at $60 a fight back in the 90s and watch him destroy someone in 20 seconds?
Yeah, but that's because they wanted to see Tyson destroy somebody.
You think? Or you think they actually expected to see a competitive fight for their money and they just end up destroying him?
Depends, though. Like, Tyson eventually got to the point where everybody's just paying to see him beat the guy up. I mean, Punk, people wanted to see a fight. And they got to see less than 2 minutes, and Punk didn't even throw a punch.
No, it was horrible. Like I said before, it's embarrassing.
I know this is like, I know what you're saying, but you got to look at, like, Fabricio Verdum. He's a former UFC heavyweight champion, right? He got paid $375,000 for beating Travis Brown in the co-main event, and so he got paid less than CM Punk did. And CM Punk didn't even throw a punch. You know what I mean? Well, that's what I get. Like, okay, I can understand, I don't know, pay him a salary or something, but you're talking about like a one-night bonus, like a one-night payday of $500,000, like $500,000. So, for less than 2 minutes? Man, oh man, that's a big payday compared to like other people, you know what I mean? Now I can understand what you're saying. Yes, I'm looking at the card here and like, Jason Gonzalez didn't bring any fucking pay-per-view buys to this thing, right? And he got $10,000 for losing. But that guy trained just as much as CM Punk did, and
yeah, but nobody cares. Like
that's what I mean. And he still fought. Like, I'm sure it was a more competitive fight. See, this is what I don't get. Like
nobody cares about that guy. No, the world's not fair, and unfortunately, everybody needs to just get over the fact. Like, it's not fair. Like, CM Punk's a hypocrite. Like, I'm not on CM Punk's side. Like, I'm not. I think he's a fucking jabroni, to be honest with you. Like, he basically did to UFC what he complained that WWE didn't do to him. As in, when Rock came back for Mania 27 and 28, he was bitching that he worked all that time to be in the main event of Mania, and he worked his ass off all year to be in the main event of Mania, and Rock swooped in and took his spot. That's basically the narrative why he left the fucking company. It was because he never got his chance at Mania, the part-timers did, and he worked his ass off. Meanwhile, how ironic is it that all these guys in UFC, like you just mentioned, worked their ass off, and CM Punk swoops in and makes a bigger payday than even the main event, and he has no problem with that?
I wonder if he's actually been asked about that yet.
Because, like, well, that's a legitimate question. If someone, I don't think he has been asked that. And I think it's completely fucking ironic, and it's truly fucking hypocritical. I mean, he left the WWE under the same premise of what he just did in the UFC, which is take someone's spot, make more money, not deserve it, be part-time. He didn't care about it now, though, because it was his shot. But when Rock did it a few years ago at Mania, when he worked all year at house shows and busted his ass, he basically left the company for it. So I don't think it's fair.
I don't think, I'm not against, obviously the UFC is the ones that paid him. I mean, it's not, somebody looks at him and says, all right, we're going to give you $500,000 to do it. He's not going to say no. I think, I was about to say that the pay scale in all of combat sports is fucked. So, like, you go to NHL, okay? You got superstar players who are putting off they get paid as superstars. So, Sidney Crosby got a contract that he gets paid X amount of dollars, right? Sidney Crosby shits the bed for the next fucking 3 years. His contract comes up. Guess who's not getting such a big contract anymore because he didn't put off a good show, right? So that's how like actual sports works. With competitive sports like this, combat sports like this, it's not that way at all. You get paid for your name, not for how you fucking do. Prime example, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. That match was a fucking shit show. Floyd Mayweather walks out with like $18 million or something for doing nothing.
It was like closer to like almost $250 million by the time advertisements and everything was done.
Yeah, so that's fucking ridiculous. And that was just them hugging each other for fucking 30, 35 minutes or whatever it was. Like,
well, that was all Mayweather did was play just defense. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. There's such a disconnect between basketball, hockey, soccer, fucking baseball, to boxing, kickboxing, UFC, this kind of stuff. There's such a disconnect when it comes to pay that it's not even in the realm. I think it's totally fucked how the people get paid for it. I mean, Conor McGregor goes out and he gets paid tons of money because he can talk. Yeah, he's bringing people in. He's bringing in pay-per-view buys and stuff. But, man, listen, you got to walk the walk, right? Like, you can only talk so much. You got to actually put up or shut up at some point, which CM Punk obviously didn't do. Yeah, he talked the talk. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this because yada, yada, yada. He goes out there and gets his fucking ass beat. Well, all your talk meant nothing, man. That means shit all. So, now, I did hear that his post-fight interview was inspirational. He did some kind of inspirational speech. You said it was corny.
Are you kidding me? Oh, my God, it was fucking horrendous.
Everybody online, I honestly didn't watch it. I didn't watch any of it. I read about it afterwards. I didn't watch any of it. But from what I read online, there was people saying how inspirational it was and all this stuff. But you said it was corny.
In a nutshell, he basically said, in like a 2-minute promo, which again, it was a promo, it was basically like Rocky when fucking he won and he said, "Yo, Adrian, I did it." It was something out of a movie. The guy just basically said, "Fight for your." It was John Cena. It was a John Cena promo. He's like, "If you stay true to your dreams, you will always reach it, and make sure you never give up." And he's like, "I'm glad I did it because I had a dream and I want." And I was just like, "This to me, it came off as super fucking cheesy, man." I was like, "This guy needs to own this," and he didn't own it. Instead, he spinned it off as some corny ass wrestling promo, which is all it was. He basically just looked at the John Cena book, took chapter 7 out of it, and read the script. I expected him after he got his ass beat, because he's CM Punk, and he's outspoken, and he talks the talk, and he's all about fucking shooting his mouth off, which is all he's done for the last 3 years, to own it, and say, "Listen, I just got my ass kicked." Okay? But instead of doing that, he just gave this corny-ass promo, just to get people back on his side, to make him feel bad for him almost. Like he was playing it as, not feel bad for him, but just do whatever you can as long as you aspire to be someone. It just came off as cheesy to me and scripted almost and forced. I didn't like it. I didn't know that it was getting praise online. I thought everybody was on the same page as me. I thought everybody thought it was cheesy as shit.
No, everybody. From what I'm reading, people are saying like Twitter. Apparently, a lot of the fighters were saying how. 1 second now. He has courage, which is more than what most people have.
I don't get that. I don't get it.
So this one here. This is a Lunger Blaze now. This is Medusa, like an actual wrestler. He may have lost the fight, but did he really lose the fight? His fight was the challenge to succeed, to overcome. He'll be back. This guy here, you can't help but respect him. He's got his ass handed to him, and he still has sportsmanship to do that.
I don't know. I disagree, but I mean, I digress on it. I suppose I don't get it. To me, he made a fucking fool of himself. It takes courage to train for 2 years and get paid $500,000 coming to get your ass kicked in 2 minutes. Like, I don't know. I guess I can give him credit, man, for coming in and doing it. Like, but
listen,
to me, it's like, do you give like?
In all honesty, if you said to me right now, you can train with the top trainers in the world for 2 years, get all this publicity, all this like sponsorships and stuff. You're gonna get into the ring in less than 2 minutes. Some guy's just gonna choke you out. You're not gonna get hurt.
You're gonna tap.
Yeah, and we're gonna give you $500,000. Boy, I do it. That's not taking guts, man. That's just fucking brains. Like, I do that in a heartbeat. But I do that right now. I take on. You put 10 guys in this room here, I'd fight all of them for $500,000. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree.
It's not really guts. I mean, I do it. I get my ass beat. I know I get my ass beat. But guess what? I do it for $500,000.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. And UFC it's not remotely hurting. It's worth a lot of money. It's a huge business. But the last few years, a lot of the things that have been said is it's too showy, or it's becoming too much like a fucking drama show, and they're trying. It's not about the fighting anymore. And Dana White needs to own this. Like, this is what afterwards he said. I don't think CM Punk should have one more match in UFC. He should be somewhere else. But to me, all this the backlash from it, or the people that gave it credit, or the guys that called him out, it's all on Dana White. I mean, this was a publicity stunt. That's it. That's at the end of the day. You can say what you want about Punk's training and who he is, but this was a 100% publicity stunt for UFC. It probably garnered another 200,000 buys. And not only that, CM Punk's getting $2.50 on every buy over 200,000 too. So that $500,000 ain't even close to the end. Because if it did 600,000 or 700,000, that's basically 400,000 times 250. He's also guaranteed 250 over 200,000 buys. So the guy's going to end up walking away with probably a couple $1 million from this.
At what point, though? At what point does this hurt the business of mixed martial arts? And as a
well, that's what I mean. Like, and it's Dana White, because like you said earlier, Dana White basically is Vince McMahon, and this didn't help the business, did it?
God no.
You know.
So that it's almost proven to anybody who's got any kind of name, any kind of celebrity name at all, that all right, I can put my name out there, or pretend to train, or actually train, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Get all kinds of publicity, get my name out there, get in the ring, get my ass beat, and it doesn't, and I get piles of money for it. So, what's stopping from some fucking loser, ex-celebrity or ex-sports personnel to come in and say, oh, well, I want to fight now too. Brock Lesnar's been here, fucking CM Punk's been here, even Bobby Lashley's fucking in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, just I'm going to throw my hat in the ring, time for me to get in there and make some money. Just because people want to see me get beat up, or they want a Cinderella story, and I'm going to lose at the end anyway. I don't understand, you know what I mean? Like, why can't fucking Ryback do it? Why can't fucking anybody?
Well, the precedent's been set, right? Because if they're going to do it for CM Punk, then, I mean, what's stopping fucking Jason Statham from saying,
I'm going to get
I want to get in the ring, and because I've been an action star, and I think I can do it. And then they do a documentary on him, and you get, like, the whole thing with the UFC fighters was they had a big problem with it. But again, my only real problem with it is CM Punk, the way he left wrestling. And his biggest grief with wrestling was basically what he just did to every UFC fighter. And I don't like that. Like,
well, I've been getting out of like watching UFC the last few years, and the reason why is because of what happened the other night. That basically says why I don't watch it anymore, because I get hyped up for a match. Yes, it wasn't that big of a match, yes, but I really wanted to see it. And I didn't see it. I missed it, and then I was kind of glad that I did. Can you imagine forking out $60 to watch that, and it ends in under 2 minutes? I'd be sitting there like, my whole night's ruined. Fuck this, I'm not watching this no more. This is bullshit.
Well, can you imagine if you had, like, and I'm sure this happened a lot, because like I said, CM Punk ain't no jabroni. He's a superstar. You imagine if you had like 4 or 5 people over, or 6 or 8 people, and I mean, you're making a night of it. You bought beer, you've got pizza coming. You know, you're forking out 60 cents. You're chipping in on the pay-per-view. By the time it's done, you're looking at a $50 night each or something. And you sit down and you're all hyped up, and CM Punk comes out to Cult of Personality, and you're like, yeah, let's go, and that happens. Right? If that doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth for the whole product, I don't know what will. And Dana White is he's walking a very thin line with. It's almost like at this point he doesn't know exactly what he's even trying to be. Like, hopefully this is the end of it. This is the last time. The UFC's got to be a separate entity from wrestling. And I understand why the UFC guys get so touchy about wrestling, because I think they see it too. Is like they've got to separate themselves completely from it. And what I just see with CM Punk, like I said, watching it for the first time really ever, is they are treading the line so close to professional wrestling right now, with it being basically a gong show, that it's going to hurt the product if they don't change it. Because right now, what I just seen was a total publicity stunt, like I said. So,
well, Dana White went on record years ago saying he was not going to have like these circus show super fights and like just like, you know, like you said, gong shows or just freak shows fights. You know what I mean? Over in Japan, you got the guys who are like 4 weight classes apart fighting each other and this kind of stuff just because they're names. They put them in the ring, fight, make some money. He always said he wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to make super fights where Jose Aldo takes on George St. Pierre, even though they're 2 weight classes apart just because they're champions and this kind of stuff. But, like, is it almost getting to the point now where it's becoming a circus? You know what I mean? So, Brock Lesnar comes back, okay? Nobody expected it. They pushed it like crazy, rushed it. He come back with like they announced it like a month before he actually came back. Nobody fucking expected it. I didn't. He comes in, they waive the 4-month drug testing thing for him. They do all this stuff. He comes in, wins this fight. They're all like, oh my god, Brock Lesnar's back. Oh, guess what? He failed the fucking drug test. He was on steroids the whole goddamn time. So that's a fucking gong show. That's a circus right there. Now they puts all this time and money and interest into CM Punk. He comes out, fucking shits the bed. Again, a circus fucking show. You know what I mean? Like, this is a shit show going on right now. What's the next one? What's the next thing that's going to happen? And this is why UFC can't do that shit, because you could be... This, like I just said, I got out of watching it for a while because there's nights you sit down and watch UFC. Every goddamn match goes to the decision. Every goddamn match is a snore fest where the guys are just hugging each other, falling around on the ground, not a goddamn punch being thrown, just hugging each other for 5 minutes. Then the next night, every match ends in under 30 seconds, and it's just one extreme to the next. Like, there's times I was sitting down watching UFC and I'm bored to death on my phone, like, you know what I mean? What the fuck's going on here? And there's other times I'm on the edge of my seat because it's like, holy shit, what a deadly fight. You don't know what you're getting. And I think it's going down the same path that boxing did and has, where people tune in for the big, huge fights, and that's it. And 95% of the time, they're disappointed by them. That's what I think is happening. It's happening right now. Like, people are tuning into, like I said, Lesnar against Mark Hunter, Lesnar against whoever, to see what's happening. They watch it, and you're like, well, that sucked. You know what I mean? That was shit. Next few months later, CM Punk, oh, well, I'll tune in. That should be a decent, like, story and decent, like, match or whatever. See how he does. All right, well, that fucking sucked. What's going to happen next? Like, George St. Pierre's talking about returning to the UFC. That's going to be another shit show. Buddy's been out of fucking fighting for like 2 years. Yes, he's probably in deadly shape. They'll build it up. It'll be a fucking garbage match. He'll probably win, but he'll win by laying on the mat for fucking 25 minutes and hugging the dude. That's what's going to happen. And everybody's going to be like, oh, well, he's a lazy fighter. But he got in there and he did what he said he was going to do. Well, you know what? That doesn't give me my fucking $60 back in pocket. You know what I mean? I'm paying for entertainment. Paying to see 2 guys fight. Not this fucking shit show. You know what I mean? I know I know these are 2 guys that are fighting. They can't go out and just stand in the middle of the ring and fucking blast each other. We're not barbarians. But at some point, you need to like give the customer back something. I don't know if they need to start doing better jobs at matching up people or something, man. They just can't be throwing people together and then getting these shitty matchups. I don't know what they got to do, but we've spent 40 minutes talking about fucking
Well, it's
CM
okay.
Punk.
Like I don't mind. Like I mean, it's a wrestling podcast. We talk about Raw and SmackDown all the time, so it's a different subject. As someone that doesn't watch it much, I mean, I'm not very what you call inclined to talk about it too much. But at the end of the day, um, let me put it this way: if it goes down the same road as boxing, which you just alluded to, then the UFC's in trouble because
Oh yeah,
boxing is
yes.
basically it's a dead sport.
Oh yeah.
So there's no such thing as really boxing. If boxing ceased to exist as of tomorrow morning, nobody would even notice. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that people pay attention to. But
But
I
it's
guess my
one of
biggest
those
problem with
things.
it,
Boxing was huge 50 years ago, like
but it
huge,
was
like
huge.
the biggest thing.
It was huge in like the '60s, '70s, '80s, and '90s. And since I mean I don't know, but since Oscar De La Hoya and I guess Mayweather have probably been the last hurrah of it. But since Tyson left the business in like the late '90s, the heavyweight division since the late '90s has been non-existent, right? Like there's no. Lennox Lewis had a decent run as heavyweight champion after Tyson, but he was not a household name like Tyson or Holyfield or Foreman or Frazier or Ali, you know, all these guys. And since the '90s, it's basically gone down. A lot of the problem with boxing is it just got a bad reputation for being fucking rigged, man. Like people stopped buying the pay per view because they just thought it was as fake as anything else. And UFC's traveling on the same path. Like you gotta stop bringing in these gong shows because it's just gonna get the same reputation, and it's already getting it. Like it's not starting to. Like
Yeah.
UFC, like put it this way, the last two fights, like I have a friend who watches UFC casually, as in like a casual wrestling fan, and the last two fights he ordered, he is not a wrestling fan, so he doesn't really know. He knows who CM Punk is probably, but the last two he ordered happened to be the Brock Lesnar fight, which I went to at his place, and he ordered 202 or whatever it was last week, and he's a UFC casual fan. He didn't get the UFC experience. All he got was a fucking gong show. And I guarantee you that he's probably just walked away from that going, the hell did I just watch? You know what I mean? Like, what am I looking at here? Like, this is, UFC built their shit on, like, in the late 2010, or 2000s, like 2008, 2009, 2010, when it was huge. That's not what it was built on. It wasn't built on celebrity guests and fighters coming in for one fight and then leaving again and bringing in special appearances. That's not what it was. There was a whole fucking array of good talent that were fighting, and it was legit, and it caught on. But
Well, the thing was, everybody was hungry because the company was trying to become something. They were trying to get their footing, and they were trying to become an entity. So everybody was putting off good shows. Everybody's going to being hungry, trying to make a name for themselves. Now guys get a name for themselves by bitching and complaining and just spouting off bullshit. Chael Sonnen, fucking Conor McGregor, all these guys, all they got to do is call somebody out or call somebody a pussy or something like that, and they still they're getting big huge paydays when they're absolute garbage. Chael Sonnen, fucking like starts bitching about Anderson Silva and how Anderson Silva this, Anderson Silva that, and how like Anderson Silva's Brazilian wife's gonna make a mistake and call him out, like basically made a fucking joke of him. Well, guess what? When I got in the ring, Anderson Silva absolutely destroyed him. So guess same kind of deal. Big build up, big fucking hurrah for absolutely nothing, right? So the same kind of deal. Conor McGregor is backing it up a little bit. But the last two of his fights, man, against Diaz has been iffy. Like, the first one he lost.
yeah, but like,
And the second one, they're saying that some people are saying he did lose, but
so like you're touching on something that's very important right now to the conversation we're having. When someone ordered a UFC pay per view 6, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, what did they order the pay per view for? To actually see two guys that they thought didn't really even know that much about them aside from a press conference. You know what I mean? They were celebrities, they were big and everything, but they actually wanted to see who was the better fighter. You're alluding to the fact that basically it's a chirp game now. So you have Conor McGregor, who he's backing it up a little bit, but his mouth is what's selling the pay per view. He's fucking shooting his mouth off, and then people buy the pay per view because even casual people are like, oh, that's that guy that said insert insult. Or that's that guy that said, insert insult. I seen him on SportsCenter last week. I want to see him fight. Not because of his credentials. Not because he can actually kick somebody's ass. Not because he's actually a good fighter. Just because they heard some random shit because he's on fucking SportsCenter every night. Because he's making fucking waves with his comments and how he's verbally attacking people. And that's what a lot of it is right now. And I agree 100% with what you're saying. A lot of it just comes down to who's the trash talk. Trash talking sells pay-per-views. Not... Like when GSP was on the go and fucking even Brock Lesnar, like Brock Lesnar was a man of few words, man. Like when he had his first run in UFC, and I did not watch. I will digress again on that. But it's not like he was out shooting his men off that much. Like as far as I know, Brock Lesnar's always been a pretty quiet guy. His answers are quick. He doesn't really stir up too much controversy. He'll say, "I'll kick your ass," love it. He sold a lot of pay-per-views because they want to see him destroy people. Like that's what it was. They want to see him destroy people. And same with George St. Pierre. Like he didn't go out and call wrestlers pussies. Or say, I'm going to bang somebody's wife, or I'm going to fucking do all this crap that people say these days. He just went out there and won every match. And he sold the pay-per-view based on the fact that he could not lose. And everyone expected him to win, and they wanted to watch it.
Anderson Silva is the same deal. He barely ever spoke. Randy Couture, all these guys, like the big, huge stars, Chuck Liddell. I mean, the biggest talker you probably had was like... The biggest talker you probably had at that point was Tito Ortiz. And really, can you tell me any time at all that you can actually say that Tito Ortiz said this or said that? No,
No, because like these guys sold it on their fights, not their words, right? And now it's the complete opposite. Pay-per-views and big matches are sold on. First, they have like the little hype, like the McGregor-Diaz thing, right? Like they have this little hype thing going, where it's like you got to spend a couple of months chirping each other first, and then you have the match like 3 months down the road. Back in the day, you backed it up in the ring. You didn't talk. Now it's all about the verbal shit show, and that sells the pay-per-view, and then you get in the ring, and like you said earlier, it turns out to be a shit match, and all this talk was for nothing, because they all went out there and they flapped their gums about this and that. Like CM Punk is the prime example. Now, he is the quintessential example. He is the example of shooting your mouth off, and then going out and getting fucking destroyed. And as a purchaser of the pay-per-view, you're sitting back going, huh, I don't know if I'm going to order one of those anymore.
Yeah, I just wasted my money.
You know what I mean? Like, and it goes back to, for me, the whole reason why I kind of never really got into UFC was because with wrestling, I always knew what I was going to get. So I could watch like if someone gave me, if the WWE presented a card, and you know this yourself, that was fucking CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan, you know that that's going to be a 30-minute classic. So, like, there's that comfort level with me going, but you know also if you get Rhino versus fucking Jinder Mahal in the main event, you know before not to order that. You're like, that's going to be shit. But with wrestling, I always felt like I knew what I was going to get, and I could almost dictate to myself how the pay-per-view was going to be, and I'll order this, I'll watch this, or I won't watch it. And there's been pay-per-views I didn't watch because I thought it was going to be shitty. But most of the time, I know what I'm going to get. So as a fan of the sport, just like fans of UFC, I can go in with almost a guarantee I'm going to watch a good match. Like if you put goddamn AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan on a pay-per-view, let's say in the next year, I'm going to order that. You know why? Because it ain't going to be 2 minutes. It's going to be a 30-minute fucking Mac Classic. That's not comparing the two sports. It's just that level of purchasing a pay-per-view and knowing what you're going to get. With wrestling, I kind of know that's why I never really got into UFC, because I never knew what was going to happen. I was like, I don't know. Like with wrestling, it's almost like your safe zone, right? Like you're like, okay, you know what's going to happen. You know, like me and you especially, and a lot of wrestling fans out there know what they're going to get out of before the pay-per-view starts. You see the card and you know what's going to happen. With UFC, it's like boxing, which has a spoiled reputation too. Is you pay the big money and you end up disappointed. So it's like, for me, I just never ever took the risk, I guess you could say. I didn't want to go down that road because I didn't know what I was going to get. But as far as everything you said on UFC, and you know more about it than me, I agree 100% with everything you said about like the words, the verbal backlash, all this crap that happens these days, the show, the circus. It's something Dana White's doing to himself, I think, man. Like, the CM Punk thing might be the icing on the cake, honestly. Like, that was a fucking embarrassment, like I said fucking 40 minutes ago. So.
Alright, so we'll give up on the old UFC. We'll quickly breeze over to old WWE news. We have like 10 minutes or so left.
It's time!
So Backlash happened. I actually read an article today. It was touting it as one of the best pay-per-views this year. And I kind of got to.
Funny.
I agree a little bit, man. Like, I gotta say, like, there wasn't a whole bunch of cheesy, stupid promos. All the matches were pretty solid. Even, like, I know it's gonna kill me to say this, but even Kane and Bray Wyatt wasn't that bad. I've seen way worse.
Considering they threw it together, honestly, like, that was not a bad match.
Miz and Dolph Ziggler, we've seen it, like, tons of times before, but it still felt fresh. Oh, did you hear about this? Speaking of going from WWE to UFC and back and forth, the beginning of the Dolph Ziggler Miz match was actually a spoof on the CM Punk match. Did you hear about that? Yeah. So that was kind of a funny nod to, like.
I didn't pick up on it at the time. But,
no, me either. I had to read about it afterwards, and then I clued in. I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Big story out of that is that AJ Styles is the new world champion. I'm happy about it. Apparently, again, reading online. A lot of people
online, Chrissy.
A lot of people are saying that Dean Ambrose failed as a champion. They were saying that numbers were down, and that's why they switched it.
No, that's horseshit. His numbers are they're no more down than when Roman Reigns was champion or Seth Rollins. That's just talk. The numbers are always the same. Speaking of, I want to just touch on Backlash first before I get to that. Before Backlash, and I know I bring this guy up every now and then, but he is basically at the top of the mountain for wrestling news. It's off of Dave Meltzer. We all know who he is. Him and Brian Alvarez have this show that they do, and I don't listen to it personally, but going into Backlash, he had written, he kind of seems out of touch here. On paper, this seems like the worst WWE show in years. And like his little preview thing on the Wrestling Observer website, he said that going into this pay-per-view seems like the worst card. Sorry, not show, but just the card itself. The worst of the year and maybe the worst in a couple of years. And I couldn't disagree more, really, because even though it wasn't filled with star power, it wasn't filled with theatrics and all this crap that goes on with wrestling, like the old day segments and all this, like, it was just a wrestling show. And it was almost like the way they're approaching Smackdown, and this is a hot take, but it's almost like NXT in the big leagues. As in, they're slowly just building people up. There's no huge names. They're making people bigger names as they go week to week. And it's just a straight up wrestling show. Like, I got into NXT last year because it was just no trash. It was straight up wrestling. That was it. And I didn't know any of the guys. I didn't know. They were all jobbers to me when I tuned in. I mean, none of them, except for a couple of guys, they were all jobbers. But I became invested in them after like 8-10 weeks of it because it was straight wrestling, good storylines, no circus. And that's what Backlash kind of reminded me of, was like an NXT pay-per-view where it was just a straight up wrestling pay-per-view. That's all it was. It was the best pay-per-view for just matches and storylines in a long time. Like, it was just a good pay-per-view. If you're a wrestling fan and you didn't like that pay-per-view, then I would question why you're even a wrestling fan, because it wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't fucking goddamn WrestleMania 17 or something. But it was for September B pay-per-view, which usually carries no weight. It was better than most shows they would put off this time of year. And I thought it was, and Styles winning the belt's obviously the right decision, but I thought it was a good show. And I'm looking forward to their next pay-per-view, which is No Mercy, right?
Yes, No Mercy.
So,
yeah.
I just thought it was I'm an old school guy. I just like an old wrestling pay-per-view. It reminded me a lot of, like I said, NXT, just very basic formula storylines, like this kind of thing where you just come heels, faces, and stuff. And a lot of the hoopla, which comes along with, especially the Raw product, as in the Sasha Banks thing last night, which made, like, a lot of that trash that really doesn't make... None of that was there. It was just 3 hours of wrestling.
Well, that's the thing. So each match... I felt each match was given enough time to tell a story. Even like the opener, which is the 6 women match, the elimination match.
That was a good opener. That was a fine opener.
Yeah, excellent. Like, it gave every girl got to put off, every woman got to put off their spots. It didn't look rushed. They all felt comfortable. It looked comfortable. There's no real huge botches, few little ones, but nothing like it wasn't Sasha versus Charlotte kind of deal.
No, but think about it. They just had 6 women in the same ring, and the botches were minimal.
Yeah.
Usually you put 2 women in a ring, and it's botch galore. So credit to them for having especially a 6-woman tag.
Well,
Elimination match. Like, normally, botches everywhere for six women in a ring at the same time.
Well,
they kept it down. There were some cool spots.
Well, I texted you, remember, and I said, like, this is going to be a shit show. Like, I thought, honestly, it was going to be a shit show of a match just because it's an elimination match with 6 women. Not all of them are, like, the best performers, like Alexa Bliss and Carmella. You know what I mean? They aren't to the stature of, like, Natalia. Even she botches a lot. But, you know what I mean? Those, like, what people consider the best
she don't
women
back
wrestling.
like fucking Sasha and Charlotte. Holy fucking crap. They're fucking not a leader.
I don't know what's going on there, man, because the thing is, back in NXT, they didn't. I don't know if the pressure gets to them.
It's the pressure, man. Like, it's the same fucking story. All these NXT people in front of 300 people, they thrive. And it's happening all the time. And Vince and Triple H are relying on it to come to the main. You notice how they all come up and end up looking awkward and forced and uncomfortable? Like, Sasha's the classic example. In NXT, she was a fucking superstar. 2 weeks into her run, I was questioning it. I'm like, she doesn't look right. I don't know if it's the 15,000 that are there and the 3 million watching on fucking TV instead of the 100,000 on the WWE Network and the 200 people in the audience. But it's happening a lot where NXT guys come up and they look ready, and then people can say it's because of the scripted promos. They still get TV time, and they still get to wrestle a match. So I can understand the promos being scripted. Once you wrestle a match, that's your match. Most of the time, except for the finish, nobody tells you. If there's some key spots, they'll tell you, listen, I want you to go through the barricade like Nia Jax did last night with fucking Leech Fox or something. But for most part, you get to dictate your own match. And I don't know what the fuck's going on with Sasha, man, but when she's on the mic, she's uncomfortable. She is fucking botching everything lately. I mean, I can't even watch her. I don't know what's going on with her. Like, it's Sasha or Charlotte too. Now, you know I hate Charlotte.
Yeah, like, she's just as bad, man, lately.
She's green as fucking grass. Like, I don't know what's going on with the women on Raw. The sad part is the women on SmackDown, who were the jobbers of the draft. Everyone thought. Remember when the draft happened? Everyone was like, "Oh, SmackDown got fucking Jewed on the women." Everybody said it because Raw got Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte, and all these guys, and everyone's like, "Oh, poor SmackDown with like fucking goddamn Carmella and shit, and fucking all these people." So far, it's a landslide victory to me. That 6-tag match was fucking a great opener. They all had individual storylines going in, like Nikki and Carmella had a thing, and Bayley had a thing. Everyone had their own little storyline, and it made for an entertaining match. It made for a good opener. Like, and the botches were minimal. Like, you did text me and say, like, this is going to be Botch City, right?
Yeah.
Because you put 6 women in a scramble match, and my God, man, like, you're looking for trouble. But it turned out to be a solid opener. And
the ending was good. I mean, they gave it to Becky. Everybody wanted it to happen. I don't know. I was reading a lot of people were saying it was predictable, but I didn't think it was that predictable. If they were going to go with predictable, they would have gave it to Nikki.
I didn't think it was predictable. Like, when I texted you and said I think Becky's going to win, I didn't think I was texting the predictable thing. I thought it was kind of like, hopefully, off the cuff, kind of like, hopefully she wins it, but
yeah, I think if you wanted to go with predictable, I would have said Nikki Bella was going to win it.
Well, of course, she just came back. She's a big star in the women's division. She just made a return. Of course she's going to win. Like, that's what I would have thought, but I don't know. It was a good show. Backlash was a good show. Miz versus
Ziggler.
This is another thing that I just want to say, and all due respect to everybody that wrestles in CWC and in these high-flying matches, and you know that I'm an advocate of psychology. I always have been. I mean, my favorite wrestler is Bret Hart, who didn't do any of that shit. He just looked real and sold a match. So I've been that way for 20 years. I'm not hopping on a bandwagon. If anything, the bandwagon goes the other way for high-flying, so I'm actually off the bandwagon. But in all due respect to all these guys wrestling, Miz Ziggler was 15 minutes of fucking almost perfection. It wasn't a 5-star match. It wasn't. I'll probably give it like 3/4, 4 stars. But the way they wrestled that match was so refreshing, Johnny, to watch. Like, you know, all the shit that happens these days with the suicide dives and the super kicks and the fucking DDTs. There was a super kick and a DDT at one point in the match, but the rest of it was hard-nosed wrestling. Like, they put him in a headlock and he'd grind his elbow against the guy's face. You know what I mean? Like the old stuff like you used to see, or they sold their legs, they sold their arm injuries, they sold everything, and it was so refreshing for me to watch. And Miz gets a lot of hate, and I just thought that match was absolutely fucking great. It wasn't, like I said, match of the year or anything. I'm not going to go that far. It was just a really, all I'll say is a really good wrestling match. That's all that was.
Well, I kind of touched upon it earlier. Is that we've seen that match so many times before, but for some reason Sunday nights felt fresh to me. It felt like, I don't know.
It felt like two guys actually wrestling, like they wanted to hurt each other.
There was something new about it, or something like, I don't know. There was something about it that it didn't seem like Sheamus and Cesaro. You know what I mean? Like,
oh God, don't.
You know what I mean? Because we've seen like Dolph Ziggler and The Miz wrestle so many times before, even for the Intercontinental title. They've probably had just as many matches together as Cesaro and Sheamus. But you put two of those matches together, there's one that's clearly a fucking better match. You know what I mean? Because this whole Cesaro Sheamus thing, I told you last night, this is making me hate Cesaro so much. Like, I was a decent fan of his. Like, I wasn't a huge Cesaro mark. No, not by any means. But
you liked him.
I enjoyed him.
I did too.
Yeah, he wasn't bad or nothing. No, he wasn't gonna fucking tear down the world or nothing. But
you never had a T-shirt that says Cesaro section on the motherfucker.
No, but this is making me hate his guts, man. I can't stand to see him come out. Like, I didn't even mind the whole James Bond like.
Oh God, don't.
No, I didn't even, because I didn't care. Who the fuck cares what he's coming out? You know what I mean? Like, who cares what he's coming out to? Come out dressed like James Bond all you want. I don't give a fuck. Now it's like, okay, it just makes me want to hate him more because I gotta see it every fucking week, taking on the same guy doing the same match. It'd be different if they wrestled a different match, but it's literally the same match 7 times, and I don't know, man. It's just brutal. It's just brutal. What else happened on Raw? Backlash. Well, we can talk about Raw, I guess, because I mean, I wanted to touch on Raw for a second before we go, because last night's Raw, in my opinion, I'm going on record here and saying this. Last night's Raw was the worst Raw I've seen in the last 10 years. No joke. That's the worst Raw I've seen in the last 10 years. I can't even comprehend. I can't even begin to explain how bad it was, because we shit on Raw a lot the last little while, and you know what? I loved Raw.
Rightfully fucking so too, man. Like, Raw's fucking shit, so fuck Raw.
The thing is, I loved Raw one time. Raw was like the show. I couldn't wait to watch it. But listen, for anybody who started listening to this show from the beginning, there's only like 2 or 3 people.
Hello, people.
Or 1.5. But like, those people have heard a trend of us shitting on Raw. Listen, this is not always the way it's been. We were huge Raw fans, because basically if you're a wrestling fan, you're a Raw fan. This is a new thing. Like, this is probably the last just couple of years that Raw's, even the last year that Raw's been this shit. But last night took the cake for me, man. I couldn't even fucking believe it. I turned it off. I had to. There's no way I could keep going. I could not watch Enzo versus Epico. I could not do it. No. And then, like, Jinder Mahal versus Jack Swagger? No, I can't do it. That's not a Raw? What the fuck is that? That's not Raw. Come on. This is the same show. This is the same goddamn show that had Steve Austin fucking coming out with a Zamboni running into the ring and stuff, and with a monster truck and fucking blowing up the fucking DX Express. And this is the same show that had all these iconic moments. The Rock and Sock connection where, like, this Mick Foley, this is The Rock, this is your life segment. All this stuff, man. Raw's an iconic show. It's got so many fucking memories. Jack Swagger versus fucking Jinder Mahal is not one of those moments, man.
And then fucking, to make it even better, is Mahal won.
Well, I read about that, but apparently Jack Swagger's going to Smackdown.
Yeah, well, I'm not even gonna be. We're over an hour, and I'm not gonna get into my thoughts on Raw, because I have beat the shit out of that show. I will continue to do it when we have a fresh podcast, because it is absolutely unwatchable. It's not even. It doesn't even like the problem is it doesn't have the feel to it that it used to. Even a few years ago when Daniel Bryan was doing his thing, and it just has this watered down. I don't know. Like SmackDown right now, like I just turned SmackDown on, and AJ Styles is walking out right now with a WWE Championship around his waist. AJ Styles is the best wrestler in the fucking world, and he's holding the WWE title, and he's starting SmackDown. Last night, starting SmackDown, we had fat-ass pedophile Mick Foley in the middle of the ring, and they went through a 20-minute segment that served no purpose at all.
Well, like I
and
said,
when I say no purpose, what I really mean to say was a complete fucking waste of time.
well, like I said,
Nothing was
they
accomplished.
built to a triple threat match for a match that was already booked, and then had the person who was already booked win it. So Sasha,
Even though her shoulders were down.
yeah, Sasha was getting a title shot. So then,
Anyway,
then they
and
booked
how
a
come
triple
I got a
threat,
question
and
for you?
Sasha wins.
Let me blow your fucking mind with a question. How come Sasha in that whole promo, which she had ample time to do it, because it lasted 19 minutes, how come at no point did she just say, hello, I kind of already have a title shot, so what the fuck is the point of all this? Like, that, I don't understand how she never even recognized. She already had the title shot, and the whole time she played stupid like she had to fight for it. Man, are wrestlers that dumb these days? Or is the audience that fucking stupid? Then nobody will go, doesn't Sasha already have a goddamn title shot?
Oh, well, I did.
Horrible.
It's the first thing I said. I was like, this match doesn't need to happen. This is okay. I could understand if it was going to be a different outcome, if it was a way to give Bayley or Dana Brooke a shot, but they had Sasha win, so the match meant nothing.
Even though her shoulders were down too, by the way, so she lost.
Well, I was the first. But I pointed that at you too. I was like, well, both of them are pinned, so I thought they were going to do a thing where it's going to be Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley for the title.
No, they didn't do that. And Bayley lost too, by the way. So 3 weeks in, she's already been pinned by fucking Sasha, which Dana Brooke is in the match, who fucking... I don't really understand her, so I don't know how she didn't break the pin on that one. But horrible fucking show, man.
Yeah,
like,
they should have had Sasha take... they should have had Dana Brooke take the job from Sasha.
Yeah, they took fucking... Bayley took the pin, man. Like, she's the fucking... They're already working on destroying her, which will fall in line with the rest of the NXT guys that were huge down there, come up here, and just have nothing.
She'll be partying with the Ascension and the Vaudevillains anytime.
Oh, yeah. She'll be having fucking goddamn party with Connor and Victor in the fucking week.
And Tyler Breeze and fucking...
Tyler Breeze and Fandango. Like, it's unreal. Like, SmackDown is not... Like, I want to make it clear. SmackDown is not fucking Raw or SmackDown from, like, 2003 or something. John Cena just came back on SmackDown, by the way. He's called out AJ Styles.
Oh, really? That's big news.
Yeah, but on SmackDown, you have what's happening right now. Like, this opening segment is on mute, and I don't want to give it away for people, but it's already more entertaining. But on SmackDown, you have fucking AJ Styles as the world champion, and I don't care who you are. If you don't think he's the best wrestler in the fucking world, then you're probably on drugs. Agreed? Like, oh my god, man, he can haul a good match at a fucking goddamn fucking Red Rooster, couldn't he? Fucking goddamn gobbledygooker, man.
Yeah,
like the gobbledygooker have 5-star classic. Like, he's up there with the guys. He's up there with the crew of people. You know what I mean? Like, there's that elite group of wrestlers, the Ric Flairs and the Shawn Michaels.
Well, because you look at his short time. Like, he's only been there since the Royal Rumble, and he's took good matches out of, like, well, Jericho. Anybody can get a good match at Jericho, but like, yeah, that's Roman Reigns, John Cena, Dean Ambrose,
dude,
like.
His match with Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules was it's one of the matches of the years for me. I thought it was fucking fantastic. I thought it was a great match. I was invested in that match, and I hate fucking Roman Reigns. But the parallel cannot be drawn between Raw and SmackDown. Like, it's like Heath Slater is a tag team storyline. Now, I like the New Day. I do like the New Day. But on Raw, you have this. The New Day is not really doing anything memorable lately. They're kind of just going through the motions with their little taglines, and I challenge you to name something they've done memorable in the last few months that will stick out. Like in a year from now, be like, remember the time New Day did that? They're not really doing much. The Slater and Rhino thing is fucking hilarious. Like, it's entertaining. And you have AJ Styles as champion. The women's division is outworking Raw at the moment. The Miz is clearly one of the best in the company. Ziggler's. It's just a better show.
The thing is, like, well, this will be the last little thing, I guess. At least they got a secondary champion. Fucking Rusev decides to take a month off for some reason, go on honeymoon for a month. So there's no US title for like a month. Why?
Yeah.
Why not have him
on a fucking 30-day honeymoon, man?
Why not have him drop it before he goes? Somebody else could take it, build on somebody else. He could win it when he comes back.
I don't want him to. How about not give it? I don't want him to drop it because the title is like a hot potato and it changes too much. But why are you giving him 30 fucking day fucking honeymoon, man? Like, have you ever? I don't even know celebrities like goddamn Tom Hanks or something that don't go on 30-day honeymoon. That's a month honeymoon.
Yeah, boys might take like a weekend or something, but I mean 30 days.
Yeah, like, well, fuck, like. So basically, it looks like, just to update everybody before we leave, because this SmackDown's on, is they're zooming up on the world title. It looks like Cena versus AJ for the world title is the main feud now. Which, like it or not, Cena's the biggest star in wrestling, and AJ Styles is the best wrestler in wrestling. So
you think that's what we'll get at Survivor Series? Oh yeah, big scoop from to the Ringside reality.
Don't you be coming with no scoops there tonight?
Me and Chris are planning a trip to see NXT and Survivor Series in Toronto in October, so we should do something for that. Or November, sorry. We should do something for that. Maybe we do like a video podcast or something on our experience at fucking NXT and Survivor Series.
Wait a minute, you want someone to see us?
We can do the recording on our phone or something.
We might do maybe we'll do like a little documentary the weekend that we have out, because like, it's a big weekend for us. We've never seen a pay-per-view live.
No. And especially something as big as Survivor Series. That's pretty big.
Yeah, we've never even come close, and we've obviously never seen an NXT takeover.
No, I'm excited for both of it, actually. I want to see takeover. Like, there's a few guys. I'd actually like to, like, hopefully get to meet some people and, like, maybe get a few autographs and shit like that. That'd be cool.
Well, you told me off here, and I'm going to give you some. This is an inside scoop. This is a Topher tidbit for the week. Because I haven't had a Topher tidbit in a couple of weeks. But I got one for you now, people. Johnny told me off here he really, really wants to meet Titus O'Neil.
I want him to give me a Clash of the Titus.
And you want Darren Young to come down and wrestle Titus O'Neil for 2 hours straight while you watch. Oh, God, imagine that.
While I chant Wrestle Forever.
And I chant in the background, we want 5-star classic.
And I'm like, Wrestle Forever.
Oh my God. Ambrose is out. Looks like a 3-way at fucking No Mercy.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll go, I guess, because I like to watch the show.
I'm just here watching the show, spoiling it for everybody. Well, Johnny's here fucking like, shut up.
Yeah, I'm not even watching it. It's out in the living room. I'm not in.
And now the worst thing is this looks like a hot segment too. Like the crowd looks hot and you're missing it all. So
yeah.
We're gonna have to, because we're wrestling nerds, we're gonna have to leave you people because Johnny needs to watch all fucking Smackdown here now, doesn't he?
Yeah. So we'll probably do one. We'll try to get one in by the end of the week. Maybe like.
No, it might not. I gotta be honest. I'm coming to fucking Newfoundland soon.
Yeah, that's next Wednesday.
Yes, but the missus wants me to do stuff.
Yeah, what about like Sunday afternoon or something?
Are we watching pay-per-view on Sunday, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
When's old Clash of the Jobbers?
Clash of the Jobbers is next Sunday. We're home. You'll be home. You'll be here when Clash of the Jobbers.
Yeah. So you're right, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, we'll do one more. I'm not leaving for another week, so one more, folks. I thought it was
we'll try to
Clash of Jobbers on Sunday, wouldn't it?
No, next Sunday. We'll try to get something in probably like Sunday afternoon or something.
Are you sure Clash of Jobbers not Sunday?
It's next Sunday. You'll be home, remember?
Oh, yeah, you did check it, yeah.
We plan to go for supper, and then we'll all come back here, have a few beers, watch Clash of the Champions or Clash of the Jobbers.
Buddy, where's the rope at? Find the fucking noose and kill yourself. Oh, my son, can't wait to go for a nice dinner. Eat a fucking 12-ounce steak. Come back, have a few beers, watch Clash of Champions. Fucking really? Raw pay-per-view? You're going to watch Reigns versus Rusev. No, we're not going to get into
that. You're going to see Titus O'Neil versus Darren Young on pay-per-view, probably.
Did you hear that they're putting a stipulation on that match, too? It's going to be a fucking Hell in a Cell, I heard. Over tidbit.
Not a chance.
Topher tidbit, you never heard that?
No.
They're doing a Hell in a Cell match, fucking, and I heard Titus is going off top.
Hopefully he lands on his head.
Hopefully he fucking breaks his neck and dies.
He's got off rails here again. How come we goes off the rails the last, like, 10 minutes?
because it's fun.
Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go because there's 15 minutes left. 15 minutes into the show here, like Smackdown.
Yeah, you're missing friggin' big time. Oh, Shane O'Mac's coming out. You better go, Johnny. Big stuff happening on Smackdown, baby. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. We're gonna have a podcast maybe on Sunday or Monday, and we might even catch up with you in Newfoundland when we do one face to face again because the first one wasn't awkward enough. We might want to do another one, only this time in Newfoundland. So have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.